was, how do you tell the camera to save an image? This drove me absolutely nuts for the longest time when I started programming. If we take a look, for instance, at our existing GPS plant activity, and I'm going to, do we actually take a picture in this? I believe we do. I'm going to Control M. Okay, on activity, result, camera result. Yes, if we take a look, what we're doing is we are getting data out of the camera results. So we take a picture, and then what we do is we get a thumbnail of that as a bitmap. Now the question is, how do we save that? Well, we can save it. We can save it, but it doesn't quite work this way. If we want to save it, what we will do is we have to tell the camera when it's invoked. We have to tell it where to save the image. So that's the important point. We have to tell the camera when it is invoked where to save the image. So it's not after we take the picture that we save the image, it's before we even invoke the camera. What I'm going to do here is, first of all, we want to save the images in a standard location. So we can get that standard location by using environment, and then we say get external storage public directory, and then we say environment, and then we'll say directory pictures. What this will do is, this is a way that we can refer to the directory, the public directory where the Android device will store the images, without actually specifying a full path. Trust me, you don't want to specify a full path. You want to use a more flexible approach like this, because you don't know if the user has, something special set up or an SD card installed. This is a much safer approach. Okay? Now we're not done just yet. I'm going to put a semicolon here, and I'm going to Control 1, and I'm going to say assign statement to new local variable. Okay, this will give us a directory. Okay, but we still have to give the picture a name as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say file, picture file equals new file, and we're going to say directory, and then we need to give the picture a name. I'll just call it pic.jpg. You probably don't want to hard code a name like that, because every time the user saves a picture, it's going to save with the same file name. It's going to save on top of the previous picture. So you want to probably put a timestamp in there. Do some kind of timestamp, something that makes it unique. But in any case, this will work for us right now. Okay. Now we have one more step. We need to say URI.from file and pass it our picture file. Okay. And I'm going to Control 1, assign to new local variable, and we'll say picture URI. Okay. Now we're almost ready. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say camera intent. Okay. And then I'm going to say put extra. Remember what an extra is. It's some information that we can pass along to an implicit intent, or really any intent. What I'm going to say is Android.provider. Whoops, sorry. .media store. .extra output. Comma. And then we're going to say picture URI. Okay, and what we're doing here, let me put a comment to this effect. We are telling the camera intent that we wish to save the image. Okay, so we're going to say, up here we'll put a comment that says, make a directory where we wish to save our image. Okay, that's good, and then we're going to save. Now I've loaded the application in the debugger, and I've clicked on the button to take a picture. And let's walk through and watch what happens. Let me Control M so we can watch this in high def. Okay, I'm going to say F6, F6, F6. Okay, and what is this picture file anyway? MNT SD card pictures pick JPG. MNT SD card pictures, pick JPG. Okay, and I will warn you, sometimes this works well, sometimes it does not. Let me go to DDMS view for just a moment. I'm going to go to File Explorer. Okay, MNT SD card pictures. And do we have a pick JPG under this directory? MNT SD card pictures. As of now, there's nothing under that directory. Let's go back to Java View and let's keep working. So I'm going to choose F6. Let me Control M so we can watch this in high def. Okay, I'm going to choose F6. Well, actually, I should go to debug, shouldn't I? Okay. Okay, now we'll choose step over. Step over. And when I hit play, what we're going to see is our screen is going to bring up the camera emulator. So I choose play. And with any luck. Okay, camera emulator is coming up. It's a kind of ugly emulator. Let me scroll down just a bit. Okay, I'm going to click and I'm going to check. And that will take us back eventually to our original application. And now, if I go to DDMS, let's take a look. Let's go to that same path where we just were, MNT SD card, pictures. What do we have under here? We have pick.jpg. I can choose the pull it off option. Pick JPG, I can save this. That's fine, we'll save it under my directory. Let me just copy it. Oh shoot, it won't give me a full. Okay, I'll just save it onto my desktop. How about that? So we'll save. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Windows Explorer. Okay, one moment. And I'm going to go to my desktop. Okay, and we're going to look for pick JPG. Okay, here we go. And what do we see? It is that camera emulator image we were seeing. Now there is one warning. There is one major warning, and if you happen to notice something closely there, you'll see that I actually had an error once I continued. The image did save okay, but I had an error. Here's the deal. You can either send in a directory like this. You can either send in a directory like this, or in the onActivity result, you can get a thumbnail back, as we've been doing. Okay. However, you can't do both. You can't do both. If you tell it to save the image to a file, you can't also get a thumbnail back in the onActivity result. So what we have to do here then is comment this out and maybe just raise a toast. Toast.makeText. Okay. This comma, and then we'll say image saved, and then duration we'll say toast dot length long, and then show. So that is the caveat there. If you save it, you no longer get that little thumbnail that comes back. So, okay, so what do we need to do for a picture? First of all, in the onActivity result, we're just going to put the toast.makeText. Secondly, when we are invoking the picture, or when we're invoking the camera rather, as an intent, we're going to invoke the camera intent as we have before. That is, we're going to use an implicit intent, and we're going to set the action to android.provider.mediastore.android action image capture. That's what we've done before. The new thing is we're going to find the public directory where images are stored by using environment.getExternalStorage public directory, environment.directory pictures. Next, we're going to use that directory and a picture name, and again we probably want to increment this name or make it unique somehow. So if we take multiple pictures, the pictures will each have unique names. So directory, the public directory, and then we come up with the picture name. We assemble that together with the public directory and a new file object. We take that file object, convert it to a URI. We take the URI, we pass it into our camera intent by using this Android provider method store mediastore.extra output, and then the URI. And then finally we go ahead and start the camera. So those are the steps we need to do if we want to save an image to a place on disk, we need to know the image name in advance. That's important. Now we could very easily move this image at a later date. You know, we could copy and paste it somewhere, that's fine. But if you want the camera intent to store an image somewhere, you have to give it that image name in advance by using an extra. And these are the tools that we can use to determine where that image should go. You know, and again, we want to use the get external storage public directory and environment directory pictures. We want to use that instead of trying to assemble a path ourselves, because we might not know what permissions the user has. It can get really messy. This is a much higher quality way to store an image. So, two different things we covered. Number one, libraries. Number two, how to store an image from the camera. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, please let me know what comments or questions you have. I won't commit this right away to GitHub because I have a couple other things going on here, but if you do want the source code, just email me and I'll be happy to give you the source code. Thank you.